new here, welcome to Lessons Learned. My name is Silly Lily, and sorry, I am putting together my board really quick. We meet here every Friday morning to share lessons learned in life, and each one of my guests, today we have three again, is willing to make themselves vulnerable and share a lesson life has taught them to help someone else. That being said, I tolerate none of your bullcrap. Zero of it. So if you are going to, so if you're going to say anything rude or negative or whatever, you will immediately be removed from my stream. So it's kindness only, which, okay, beautiful Freezy and then Army. Oh man, I gotta change it. We're gonna put it up like this for now and we'll fix it later. At least their names are up there then. Y'all, I have not felt good. I've been busy. I've been stressed. Life has definitely gotten me on a bit of the boohoo bandwagon. And I call it the boohoo bandwagon because it happens in the winter time. I am not a cold weather gal. So this cold weather makes me sad and it makes me want to curl up in my bed and it makes me want to just sleep in bed, right? Ooh, that startled me. Thank you. You guys, during the show, remember that I cannot interact with you guys one-on-one, and I cannot, I can't thank you guys for everything, right? Like for the gifts, for the favorites. So I'm going to thank you now for all the gifts, for all the favorites. And of course, I'll say that again in the middle. What am I missing? None of us are professionals. We are all simply here to help or to share a lesson in hopes that it does help somebody get through a tough time. Because that's what life is, right? Life is tough. Life can get super godforsaken tough, right? So it's really nice when you have people who are willing to share what they have to share or what they need to share in order to help someone else, right? Because that shit's hard. That stuff's hard. I said a bad word. Sorry. Meet me. POF. I'm sorry. But that stuff's hard, right? But anyways, guys, that being said, to the three people here, I have three people today. If there's anyone that wants to go first or has to go last, let me know. But you guys can request a box and I may have you get in the box here in just a second as soon as we do this. And you guys, I am sorry for the sniffles. And I actually, when you come in and introduce yourself, I might go grab some tissues really quick because I don't want to be overbearing. And John wants to go second. All right. So, Tater. Oh, we got someone flashing, or Tawny. All right. So Tater's in there. Sweet Tater. Just give me a second, Tater, and I'll get you in the box. Okay, love? And I'm just going to call you Tater because I don't know. It's cute. Is that okay? Okay. I don't know. Saggy just doesn't sound right. And Gravy's like groovy. I don't know. You're Tater. I like Tater. Anyways, okay. So here's the lesson learned, right? Before we run out of time. Life is what happens to us while we are making other plans. Are you a planner or more of a spontaneous type? I mean, I'm saggy, but that's old age. Dang it. I can't help that. So I was going to say, I think I'm both too, to be honest, right? So when it comes to like my kids and when it comes to vacations, I like to plan. Now, that doesn't mean I have to plan every day down to the hour, but when I go, I want to know that I'm going to try to hit up this spot, but I never expect to get it all done either, right? Because sometimes you go and things happen. Like maybe we're supposed to go to this dinner, right, at this restaurant, but we're at the pool. And so what? We decided to order pizza, so I didn't get to go to that restaurant. They had the best burger, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I don't plan too much because I don't want to get disappointed. Because whenever I make a whole lot of plans, I get disappointed when it doesn't happen. So yes, I make a vague plan, but I am more so about just living in the moment, right? You have to live in the moment. Too many people, you're so busy planning all this stuff that you're just not living. Does that make sense? Live in the moment. Just do it. Just live in the moment. And if you don't know what that means, go ahead and hit me up after the show and I can explain it better. But we're going to get Taters in the box, and Taters is going to tell us what we're going to be talking about. And I'm going to go grab a tissue really quick. Okay, Tater? How are you?
Sounds good.
Come!
What's up, everybody? How you doing today? Welcome to Lessons Learned with Silly Lily. It's going to be a wonderful show, and we have, me and two other people are going to tell you some of our life experiences. I want to reiterate into the fact that we are not professionals. We are just telling you about experiences that we've learned, that we grew from, and that we experienced. So this is no shape or form a therapy session. This is just telling you about our experience. So, yeah. So about me is that I've been here for 6 years, on and off. Some of you'll know me, some of you don't. I like to make people laugh. I like to make people troll. I do that. But at the same time, I can be a very serious person, which is hence why I'm here. So should I just get right into it and just?
Yep, go right ahead. I'm finishing wiping my nose. I'll be right over. I'm sorry.
It sounds good. Well, no, you're good. So it started when I was like 14 years old. I started drinking. I started, using mind-altering substances. And that was something that I needed to cope with everyday life, whether it was my mental illness, whether it was anything. And I did that for many, many years. During those times, I had passing away of a child at 9 months old. I've been to, incarceration twice. I've basically been through a lot of stuff. And one day I was in New York City. I was on the subway, and I was basically homeless, and I was sleeping on the street, sleeping on a subway platform, and I was coming from a drunken stupor. And I almost got hit by a subway car. Some person pulled me away and took me to the hospital to get treated. And I didn't want to contend that I had a problem with mind-altering substances. I'm like, I don't have this issue. I don't have this problem. And because that's not me. That's my dad, not me. And so after becoming more aware of who I was and where I was, I said, fine, I'll just go. Like, I was sick of sleeping on the street. I said, this is a dirty place to stay. Sure, I got 3 meals. I got a place to sleep. I got a warm bed. Why not? And I went to detox and rehab. And sure enough, I went to the rehab because it had a pool. That's the only reason why I went, because it had a pool. I'm like, this is going to be life. It had a pool, it had horses. Didn't really care about the messages of mind-altering substances about that. I can be better than this, and I can better whatever. I just went because of that. I came back 30 days later, and I started going to self-help programs, started getting help, and starting, figuring out what I need to do. And
right.
Sure enough, it's been 10 years this month. So I've been 10 years clean from any mind-altering substances, any kind of issue that is there, and it was a struggle. Thank you, appreciate everyone. And it hasn't been easy. Can't say it has. It's especially when the holidays. Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's are the trifecta of holidays.
I said no. Hi, welcome to Streaming with Children and Dogs, Flying Ring Lights. Josh, stop! I haven't had enough coffee for you yet, sir. Okay, so something I know you don't know about me is I've struggled in my past with things, right? And I think the hardest thing for me to hear when I first started going, right? Because like you said, there's something that drew you there because you were forced there, or whatever the reason is, you end up there, right? Yeah. And I think the hardest thing for me to hear, and I don't know about for you, was that you have to admit you have a problem before you can do anything else. Step one is admitting you have a problem. Who wants to admit they have a problem? I sure as hell don't.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're active, right? Because you got all the answers because you're hoity-toity. And that stuff alters your brain to think that you are the most powerful being or the most coolest being, right? It gives you that that feeling, it masks the pain. Let's put it that way. Let's eliminate the happiness, right? But it temporarily masks that pain, which makes you feel like you're up here because you're not hurting, right? But guys, hear me out before you're like, oh my God, something's going to mask this pain. Just know full and well it comes back tenfold and even more. Because you're burying more stuff on top of 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 more stuff until eventually you will use too much and be gone.
Yep.
Forever. Don't you dare. Or you're going to realize, oh my God, I can't live like this, because you're not going to live very long like that. So at that point, you have to hit your rock bottom. When you hit your rock bottom and realized where you were, what was one of the first thoughts that went through your mind?
Well, when I had to admit a problem, when I had to admit an issue, I did not want to admit this to anybody. I didn't want to admit this to, a room full of people. I didn't want to admit this to even streaming people. I didn't want to admit this to anybody. Like, I wanted to live in my own pity. I wanted to live in my own self-following pity. And sure enough, it took a lot of people to, some people on this site get to see the nice, soft, nice side of me, the one that actually cares, the one that actually will listen to you. But also you get me being mean, and people don't know how to take me sometime on here. See, the biggest misconception when it comes to dating me too, and this is like, it affects everything now to this day, even when it comes to dating me, when I date someone who can use mind altering substances normally, they saying that, oh, are you okay that I do this in front of you? Like, it's not going to trigger you? I'm like, if it does, I can always pick up and leave, or tell you not to do it around me. Like, I'm not a mom. I can speak up for myself. And some people have that misconception, and some people have that problem when it comes to talking and speaking up for themselves. Like, it took a lot of like banging on my head to make me realize, hey, I'm gonna have a problem. I need to address this issue. Full disclosure is that when I told people that I had a child who passed away 9 months old, I missed my child's funeral because I'd rather drink. And if you want to judge for that, by all means, that's your choice. But I was too busy involved in my own self-defecating behavior and pattern to actually have a care.
Well, and people need to realize that when you allow yourself to be controlled by substances, okay, you're not yourself, right? They are the substances in control of you. And that's why people that get on certain things do things that you could never possibly imagine them doing. It's not them, it's the substance, right? So, although now I'm not excusing their behavior by any means. I am not excusing it. I'm just making sure that for those of you who've never really dealt with this, for those of you who maybe are the user, you need to hear this too. Like, you can't, you've got to hit your rock bottom. Okay, for me, my rock bottom was a pretty serious accident that left me for 1.5 years temporarily paralyzed on this side of my face. Okay. I put 3 people in the hospital. Like, it was bad, right? That was my rock bottom. Now, I wasn't even using at the time, but it was one of those, had I been whatever, this could have been so much worse, right? So for me, luckily, it didn't go together, but it still went together enough that it made me realize, oh my God, life is way too short to be giving my time to these substances, because that's what you're doing. You're taking your time, you're taking your life, you're taking the things you love, and you're setting them aside to mask the pain, which is why I'm going to say 99% of people use, because something hurts inside. Okay? That's my assumption, right? Because I ain't met one person that's used and abused things that's been happy prior to using. Maybe coming out, maybe sobering up, maybe getting their life together, they can pull themselves on top. But I've not known anybody that started using things when they were happy, right?
See, and that's the thing people don't understand. It's like, because even when it comes to that, it's like when I go to these self-help programs and when I get this help and when I have to and when other individuals come to me and says, "Hey, how'd you do it for 10 years? Like, what's your method and what's your reasoning behind it?" The thing is that people look at it like this. I'm like, listen, I tell people I'm not a banker. I'm not here to finance you. I'm not here to feed you. I'm not here to clothe you, and I'm not here to shelter you. I'm here to tell you about how I got clean and how things work. It's like, this is how I done it. Does it work for you? No, because there's no like blueprint about you have to do all these steps to get total freedom. You don't have to.
Right.
Like, the way my accountability partner works with me is maybe someone works totally different with you. And that's why I tell people, because what works for me is this. I don't cook with any kind of mind altered substance. I'm a chef. I don't use any kind of, in my food. I will make sure of it, it's not there, even though I know it's cooked out. People are like, oh, it's cooked out. I still taste it. It's there. I know it exists. I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
And like, the other thing I do is, I hate to say it, but I watch people on here who do things like that on here and see them act like fools. And then that kind of motivates me. I don't need to go back to that life again.
It's really funny you say that. Look, the other night I was feeling some kind of way, Tater, right? And I love my friends and I love that they can let loose and they can have fun, right? But I was a previous bartender, okay? So about 1:30, I'm done talking to anybody that's been drinking. 1:30. I can't tolerate you. I don't want to speak to you. I love you, KD. But like when I'm sober and y'all's like, oh, I'm like, oh my God, that's what I sounded like every day for years,
But you know what the funny thing is, when you said that whole 1:30 to a morning, I actually know someone who was actually like that sober. Ella, but I'm like,
now look, okay, like obviously I'm pretty goofy, right? But the other night, like I was really ready to put myself like into another level, right? And then I let them in my box, and I was like, I can't be like, you know what I'm saying? So like, I'm not down on anybody. I let go sometimes too, but sometimes y'all are like a little extra. And the other one, Katie, not you, but our other buddy was a little extra. And you could tell, like, and you can tell in the laughs, because they're like, instead of like, they're like, like they're so loud.
that's like back in the day, and people get the wrestling reference when it came to Ric Flair when he got punched, that he did the flop, pop. Yup. Then he oversold it. Yup, that's exactly what you do. But it's one of those things that I'm grateful for what I do. People that I have a great network of people that are mind over substance free from this.
Okay, hold on. I want to stop you with that. I knew exactly how you were. You surround yourself with what?
With positive people who actually want this help. Like, I have my network of connection.
I don't know. It's like a deja vu, and it reminds me of something I say that nobody ever listens to, because I'm going to ask y'all, what do I tell y'all? Surround yourself with what? I don't know, because we don't listen to you, Lily.
Yeah,
who you want to be. You surround yourself with who you want to be. If you want to be, I don't know, a mechanic, you surround yourself with mechanics, because they're going to teach you. If you want to be a chef, you surround yourself with people who cook. If you want to be sober, you surround yourself with people who are sober. If you want to learn to swim, you hop in the damn pool, right? But if I'm trying to swim, I'm not going to the desert. And if I'm learning to cook, I'm not going to the football field. And if I'm going to play football, I'm not going to the kitchen. And it really is that easy to change who you are into who you want to be.
People don't see the logic in that. And the thing is that, because we all have families in here, we all cool people in here. But the thing is that just because someone is my cup of tea and someone that I get along with, doesn't mean you're going to get along with that person.
Right.
And my interaction with this person, like the way I interact with Lily, may be different the way I hang out with someone else.
Mhm.
And people don't understand that there's different magnitudes. Just because me and somebody have a great relationship and we joke with each other doesn't mean you get to chime in and do the same joking banter because you have not developed that relationship to that
Yes.
plateau yet.
Yes.
And that's what people do not understand about this app.
Yes. There,
You know,
yeah.
it goes with this, the app, everyday life. Same rules
We've
apply.
had that conversation a lot with a lot of these guys. They come in, see us bantering, and they want to join in, but we don't know if what they're saying, you know, now I can feel it and I know if they're being serious or not. So depending on who they are, I'll check them real quick, right? Like, hey, we don't know you for you to be joining in on this. You know what I'm saying? Like what you're saying, if not knowing you could be taken totally out of context. And I don't think it's, you know what I mean? And I'll check you. I have no, they know, I have no problem checking you in my stream.
Oh, same here.
Or anywhere. But if y'all, you know, even just with streaming, if you want to be in that crazy, chaotic stream life, which some people enjoy the drama, and that's fine. That's your cup of tea. That's what you're going to surround yourself with. If you want to be old, doing crafts, talking nonsense, laughing your head off, and just sometimes also being really boring, you come here. Right?
See, and that's the one thing, that's even one thing about me is like, because if I go to a stream, because like, you know, I like, you know, I make people laugh. I'm a troll. I like to make people laugh. I do that quite often. But here's the thing. If you feel like I've disrespected you, don't give me a block right away. Tell me, hey, can you reel it back? I will respect you enough. If you told me to reel it back, then instant block me. I'd rather deal with that.
I see, and I'm a pretty understanding person, right? Like so much so that I know there's people on here, and I know that hurt people, and I know that I will only do to others what I want done to me. And I also know that karma is way meaner, and I mean way meaner than I could ever be. Okay? So I tend to let her handle my dirty business, and I have learned to move on, which was something that would cause me to drink because I would bury a lot of my pain, right? And then it would become too much, and then I would drink to try to get rid of it, and it was like that cycle, right? But I learned that just letting karma handle my dirty work, and then the question that I used to ask myself all the time, it's like, oh my God, does Savage like me? Does Stabby like me? Oh my God, I really like Tater. I hope he likes me, right? But now I'm like, do I even like this MFer? Do I even want them in my circle? Like, are you worth my friendship? Do you deserve me? Because I know my value. I know my worth.
Mm-hmm.
And I will not allow you in my circle if you're not going to help me grow, because that's what I'm going to do for you. I can't promise to be perfect. I can't promise to be there for every single thing that you've got going on in your life. But I can promise that when you need me, I'm there.
Yeah,
I have the memory of a damn goldfish. I can't show up for nothing. I'm always late. Like, it's just, you know with me that this is what you get. But you also know that at 3 a.m., if something happens and you called me, I'm there.
You know, and that's the one thing on here is like, because when I came on here, what you see with me, like you got the seriousness and you got the laughing and joking. This is what you get out of there. If you hung out, if I made some kind of connection with somebody and I'm saying, okay, I want to hang with this person on the outside of this app and I want to do this, then guess what? What you see here is what you're going to get out there. So you can't go back and say, oh, well, Tots is like this, or, you know, Saggy's like this. No, this is how I am. And the thing is, I'm from New York. I'm very blunt, very thorough, very to the point. If I don't like you, I have no problem telling you, hey, go, you know, take a leap. Like, please do. Like, seriously. Like, but at the same time, I have a very nurturing soul. And if you tell me what's going on, if you tell me something that's going on with my friends, I will care about you. There are two people in this chat right now that I consider my brother and my sister. And they know who they are. Yeah. So it's like, I will go to bat for them anytime they need something because I will make sure I care about them.
Or no, I'm sorry. John, you're going second, right? We got about a minute. All right, so Tater, I'm sorry, but we are running out of time.
Let's get it.
So before I let you go, first of all, thank you. That was a great topic, and I really hope some people were listening. But give us a little bit about when John wanted whoever's next, request the box. Thank you for the pumpkin pie. Oh my God, what was I gonna say? Tell us when you stream, what the hours, if you've got any other events coming up, if you're on any other shows, auctions, that stuff.
Well, I really don't have a certain stream schedule because I work crazy hours because hence being a chef, you got hours that are whenever. But I stream really whenever. You just have to favor me and find out. But in the same time, I have Vampy's show that we are doing, that music trivia show that is actually this Tuesday is her championship game. So I'm in it with 2 other people. So wish me luck.
I will try to be there. Remind me. I will try.
I will remind everybody, just FYI, if you're going through something, you can message me. There is no judgment. I don't blast your stuff out there and say, hey, so-and-so is going through some stuff. That's between me and you. If you need to talk, if you need someone to vent to, my door's open. I don't care when it is. I will adopt that role if I have to because I care about every single one of y'all. So, and according to your question, I am more of a planner. But when it comes to doing vacations, I'm more of a spontaneous person because actually after the stream, after this is all over, I'm actually going out and I'm headed out on vacation for a good hour away and taking like another 3 days away.
Whatever, Tater, rub it in my face. I gotta go work 3 doubles in a row.
Have fun.
You better send me some good pictures. All right, Tater, thank you guys. Bye, everybody, make sure you favorite Tater. If you're just tuning in, welcome to Lessons Learned. I am Silly Lily, and if you missed Tater, we more or less kind of talked about how you can go from a life with, let's say, substances, and then you could go to the good life. We talked about how you got to own your stuff, you got to be true to yourself, and you got to surround yourself with people who you want to be like. If you surround yourself with people that use and abuse things, that's what you're going to do. If you surround yourself with positive people who play sports or cook or whatever, that's what you're going to do too, right? So surround yourself with who you want to be. Okay? Please? Thanks. All right. Tawny. All right. So Jay, John, you wanted to go last for sure. Lolita, thank you. And again, guys, thank you for the gifts. Thank you for the favorites. Unfortunately, during the show, when I have guests in the box, I cannot thank you individually for all of them. So I'm sorry, but I love all of you and I appreciate you a whole lot. Okay. All right, let's go. How?
Hey everyone, good to see you.
I like your sweater. That's cute.
Thank you. Yeah, it's cold for Texas standards now.
Oh, I don't want to hear it. We're getting that S word up here this weekend. That S word is going to be white and cold and slippery, and I need new tires.
No, we don't want any of that. Don't mention I said this. Matthew and Blake can keep that up there in Dallas with them. No, they haven't gotten it yet, but no, we rarely get it where I'm at because I'm near Austin. But no, I was thinking I've wanted to be on Lily's show for a long time. But Lily knows that usually I'm always at work on Fridays, and like it worked out that I happened to be off. So but I had to think of what to talk about because I'm like, but I think one of the biggest important lessons I've learned, and a lot of the things to get to good places in life, you do kind of have to go through, like stuff sometimes to, to get to that point. And kind of the reason where I'm at, in life and in a good note, kind of you took a dark path to get there and a lot of, struggles to get there is why never giving up and always, believing in dreams and, sticking to your guns and always striving for, better and what you want in life and like striving to be happy. It's very important. And that's something I always, try to keep in the back of my mind. And it comes from a place of like initially, my dad, always good with him. He's a good person. My mom, we're good now. I don't talk about it a lot, but my childhood relation to my mom, she drank, she was abusive. It was really, messed up, guys left and right. But it kind of, made me realize how I didn't want to be when I had the opportunity, when I had kids. But then, I was married young. single parent. Obviously, you never intend when you have kids, you think you're going to be with that person and that it's all, fairy tale and it's going to work out that way. And yeah, you end up a single parent. But we had times where, and I don't tell people this, because unfortunately people are very judgmental in relation to parenting, but and I admit my kids are 20 and 22 and I'm still learning every day. But there was times, we lived in hotels because we lost places to live because my son had a lot of mental health stuff going on that cost us, places to live. And, my kids went to live with my mom for a certain point because, I had to get things going. But I went from a life of going from like job to job to job when I was younger because I'm like, well, we're just in survival mode. And like, that's just kind of where we're at. And then I got to a point where, unfortunately, I wish I was college educated. But I'm like, okay, I got to figure out what I'm going to do to have a good life and not, have that deterrent. It's the baby. Okay. But yeah, I found that I'm like, well, I was like, what do I want to do that I enjoy doing that, would pay well? And that's where initially it started in like the fast food realm. And then I moved up to where I got involved in, restaurants, and I did that for 20 years off and on. But I had a passion always since I was younger. I wanted to be in the hotel industry. Okay. And as of May of this last year, I finally, I pushed and I moved on to work with Hyatt. But one thing is I started entry level and I worked my way up. And just know that, it's a lot of work, but you can definitely get there. I went from like, being, like doing all the entry level different positions, learning everything, to getting to where I was almost a district manager before I left restaurants. And I moved on now to where I am, hotels is always where I wanted to be. I am doing housekeeping and front desk, but I do eventually want to move up into management, but just,
I think that just to stop you, just to do kind of like a pinpoint really quick, is I think a lot of people, especially this younger generation, and I see it in my daughter, is they don't have the patience, right? Like we all have to start off somewhere.
Yeah.
You have to start off sometimes at the lowest position in a place and you can work yourself up to the highest. But too many people, they want what they want right away and they don't want to put the work in to get there. So it's a lot of persistence and a lot of just remembering that, you got to start somewhere. We all start. So.
Yeah. It just depends what you want out of life, what'll make you happy, Some people, they have different, things in life they want in life. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people, they do want to get married and be the housewife, be the stay-at-home mom. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. That's what makes you happy, do that. I tried that route in the past and it wasn't for me. So really, as far as the future, I would like the opportunity of like pursuing things in other places, other countries at this point. That's kind of where I'm a part of figuring out, but
that would be awesome.
Yeah. Well, England, a big thing. I think about like, I do have friends in different places who have brought up different, opportunities to me. One would be like, I would have to, go move to Hilton instead, but we'll see what happens with Hyatt. But that would be for me to move to Florida, but we'll see if that one happens. That one will be the most simple, realistic route to go.
Right.
But,
who wants simple? Let's go big. Go big.
Yeah. Well, right now, I was having a conversation with Raj and Krabby yesterday about how we're going to work on an English husband. Lily wants an English husband too, so maybe I'll get her. I'll bring her to England, but we already know she has the English husband on the lockdown. So we'll define me the English husband instead. But yeah, I don't know if they're quite on board with this, but like I'm going off on, I'm going off on a tangent. But yeah, in relation to her question about being, the planner, I said initially, yeah, I was a planner, but I was see how other people said, and kind of I get that when it comes to certain things. Yeah, you do got a plan, but certain things you can kind of be spontaneous. I think kind of because of my kids and job and being on here and trying in the show and trying to figure out how to do everything, and not lose my mind. I need a plan for my own sanity, but I
I
can,
lost that a long time ago.
but no, when I go on a vacation, I kind of just have fun. It's like, okay, when I'm on vacation, we're not getting up at 4 a.m. and going to do things. We're gonna, no, we're gonna, we're gonna be up at 10 or noon, and then we have plenty of time to, to enjoy the day. And,
Right.
but yeah. So I think,
Right.
yeah, there's a, it's good to be spontaneous, and it's good to plan certain things. It all depends. So.
Yeah, I think so. So as far as like was there like a point when you realized that the hotel was really what you wanted to do and that it was time to make that move? Like what kind of pushed you to get and to put yourself into what you want?
Mm-hmm. Well, initially, back when I was 18, kind of it was in my mindset that, hotels. I like that industry, but I really hadn't pinpointed exactly what path for what I wanted to do if I got there, because I knew, like, I got into the restaurant field, and I never knew if that was, if I was ever gonna be out of it, because I did it for so long. I'm just like, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of hours. Many of you that have known me for years, if you have known the ridiculous hours that I've made, like, I was like, 12, 14, 16-hour days sometimes. I don't miss that part. I don't have those kind of hours at Hyatt right now, and I'm thankful for that, so, but if it comes again, I'd be ready for those hours. But it's totally different, night and day. Restaurants and hotels are like two different things. And actually, I find hotels a lot more enjoyable. It's people are on vacation. They're relaxing. And yeah, you get the ones, I do work at a 5-star resort, so you do get the ones who are a little bougie and snotty and demanding. But in my field right now, I don't have to deal with them, thankfully. My interaction with them is like, okay, you want some more towels? Here you go, kind of interactions. And then when I go work at the one in Austin, all the people, all their clientele are pretty chill, so it's not really a big deal. But I do see some of the interactions, when I do the front desk at the other one, where managers have had, where some people, the kind of things that complain about, you're just like, what the heck? Like, why does that matter? Just like, and chill and enjoy your vacation. But the path that took me was I was getting to a point, where I was kind of fed up and wanted to move on from the restaurant industry. And I was looking into other opportunities, and I saw, there was openings in the Hyatt resort that I work at now. And I'm just like, you know what? I want out of, I want out of this. This has been time, let's just go for it and see what happens. So, and it was good because it moved me on from all the dissatisfaction and wanting to be out of the restaurant path that, I thought that would honestly be my path.
I thought I was done, and I'm back in it. I don't know if you know that, but I've been back there for a few months. Man, it's good money, but the hours, like you said, the hours stink.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I need my way out too, Tawny. You're inspiring me. I'm like, I don't want to do this forever. Not only do I not want to, I can't run like I do now. I can't do this when I'm 65. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way I could run and hit 25,000 steps on a Saturday when I'm 65,
Right. And you guys, that's the one thing, people, I didn't know much about, like, and obviously housekeeping, isn't what I want to do, in the end game. That's just what I'm doing to get my foot in the door, to get the experience. Mm-hmm. But no, okay, it is. I thought it was simple. Oh, you just go, clean things. You go make beds. This is simple. This is easy. Okay, but you think about it. You're doing this for an entire shift versus all these rooms, and there are process, and like process. And you got to think, when you're at these resorts, they have more they put into doing than some of the other resorts. Not saying the other ones aren't clean necessarily. It's just that they have more rules and more standards, and they do more. Right. But it's a routine now. But I mean, it's something that's I'm used to now. But it is a lot of work. The only thing I don't like is the days where we're slow and you have to go in bulk laundry, where you literally go and like wash a ton of laundry all day long. I'm not a fan of laundry ever.
I don't like laundry.
But then again, if I'm getting paid to do laundry, it's all good. But,
right?
right.
Like if I got paid to fold this stuff at home, we'd be game on.
Right. But and then when I do the front desk side, it's actually pretty cool because when you're in downtown Austin, it's like such one of those places that's a bigger city. It's a big melting pot, and you interact with so many cool people and all this. And like they do
John,
have
get
things
ready.
where sometimes there is like people you can't talk about that stay there, and they don't tell you. They keep it all hush hush and all private. So we all know when that things happen. But I remember my daughter used to work at the place that I worked, before. And after she didn't work there anymore, she's like, oh, but Jason Derulo stayed, like, you're not supposed to talk about that, And I'm just like, she's like, I don't work there now. It's okay. He's not there no more. I'm like, that's not the point.
Right.
But yeah, definitely the main thing. Yeah. We all go through things in life, and I've definitely had things that have, knocked me off the path, and I've had to readjust. So never let those things deter you. I've been through, abuse and, depression and, relationship stuff with my kids. And yeah, I've had roads where it might always not been a smooth path to everything, but you got to stay like focused and, get back on track and strive for what you want to be happy in life. Cause we all want to live our best lives, at the end of the day. Nobody wants to just like, I've been in the boat of living paycheck to paycheck and struggling. And it's much easier when you're working to a path to not, to have better than that, it's much easier when you have better than that. So. Okay.
So hi guys, sorry, my daughter came out here. I'm gonna take your cereal in the bedroom. I don't want to hear you crunching in the background. Okay. If you guys are just tuning in, welcome to Lessons Learned. I am Silly Lily, and this is Tawny, and we're talking about getting yourself on your right path. Like if you want to do something, you've got to get your foot in the door, and you got to make the moves, right? John, are you almost ready? I haven't seen you. And I don't want to kick Tawny out if you're, okay.
If he's ready.
All right, there you are. Yay!
All
right, so Tawny, I know that time is short today, and I'm sorry, but you got a lot in there in that time. Give us quickly, when can we find you? Do you have anything else coming up? And then John, can you request the box, and we'll get you in, and we can run over. It's okay.
Okay. I am going to be on a Fairy Godmother's show. I got to check the day. I did have to reschedule it. I was looking forward to doing that. I have an auction coming up with Raj. I'm going to be on Wingo with Wenda. I do have my featured show Monday nights, 6 Eastern, No Blues News. We discuss positive news and entertainment stories. I love my show. I have lots of fun. I am new to having a featured show. It's weird. I'm still getting used to it, but it's an exciting weird. It's awesome. But yeah, I love Lily's show, but like I said, I never get to see it. I watch it on, reruns sometimes, but definitely thank you for having me. If you're interested in being on a guest on my show, reach out to me on Instagram. I'd love to have you as a guest. Much love.
All right.
Lily.
All right, Tawny. Thank you. Mwah. All right, John, let's go. All right, Josh, you're going to have to get down.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Joe. Hi, John.
Hi, Lily.
Thank you for being on my show.
Oh, I appreciate being asked, and nervous as hell, but
Oh, don't be nervous. Just look at the Fluffinator on my lap stealing the whole show anyways.
he's gorgeous.
So,
Anyway.
yeah. All right, so I guess let's just go ahead. Tell us what we're going to be talking about. Let's dive right into this.
Well, very similar to your first guest. I had a life change early on. I don't know. I think I finally straightened out in my 20s, but before my 20s, I was a juvenile delinquent all the way through school. By 16, I was getting thrown in juvie on a regular basis.
Oh, my Lanta.
I mean, they got to the point the cops would make stuff up so they could charge me with resisting.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the bad kid, the bad seed. Nobody wanted their daughter associating with me. That kind of reputation, right?
Right.
But it got serious after a while. I didn't realize how serious it was going to get. I even once did an armed robbery. So it was
Oh my Leonta.
going down a bad path.
So can I don't know, and you could tell me no, but what do you think got you at a young age headed towards that direction?
My bad choices. I don't blame external influences. I could. There's a very cliche-ish story behind my upbringing, but I don't blame anybody but myself now. Again, bad choices. So as I said, through the teens, 16 to 18, I was in juvie a few times. When I turned 18 and got my first adult entry on the rap sheet, which was when people say somebody had a rap sheet as long as their arm, mine was longer than my arm. They printed it out for me once. But believe it or not, the thing that landed me incarcerated was marijuana. And I'd actually given some to a friend, then gave him a ride somewhere, and we got pulled over, and he just said, "Oh, I got marijuana on me." And he sold it to me. And so I got incarcerated for possession with intent to sell. And I did a year in the state system in East Coast. And that's what changed me. That today, I mean, to this very day, and I'm 70 years old now. And to this day, I remember my inmate number. So
Oh my God.
it's a lesson I've never
been in prison. I've spent a couple overnights, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, God, I that's just not a place meant for me. I'm glad I never got myself to prison. But I've made my mistakes, and I've wound up behind those bars before, But unlike you, I waited till I was in my mid-20s to find my trouble days, right? Because I was that young invincible person that got away with everything, and they were never going to catch me.
Well, that's. I mean, I always thought that.
They got me, and they got me good.
Right.
But so, yeah, I was kind of the opposite, where I didn't have anything for years, but I did all the dumb stuff, but it does all catch up, y'all. And the longer you go without getting in trouble, the worse it's going to be when you do. I know you don't want down. I got to put you down. I love you, but my arm's going numb. So.
What is he, about 60 pounds, 70?
No, he's only like 30 pounds. But he puts all his weight right on my one arm, so that the way that he likes to lay on me, right? And I put my arm between him and the chair right here, so that he's not crushing whatever with his chest or neck. So it just, after a while, because it's pushed up against that, it just kind of starts to hurt, right?
Yep.
So, well, that's what this is about, JKL. It's about us getting on here and being open and honest about our past, so that we can hopefully help somebody that's going through it, or maybe will go through something in the future, and they can think back and go, "Oh, well, you know what? That John guy was in the box, and he done told me he screwed up, but look at him now. He made changes. He made himself." Oh, I like your backdrop. I just realized there's fish swimming behind you. You know what I mean? Because I'll promise you right now, there's some 18, 19-year-old that's probably hungover, not feeling good, and has got the alcohol in their hand or something, that's watching right now, that's tuned in to make fun of us, right? But maybe in 5 years, they'll go, "God, I remember that guy. He said he could do it. Maybe so can I,"
Yeah, no, that's it. And that's kind of what I'm getting to, is that the incarceration, at the very end of it, when I was being released, the guard said, this one guard that hated me because when I was on work release, I was making more money than he was, and he had to see my paycheck whenever I came, when we came back from work and we did the search. If I had a paycheck, I had to give it to him to, turn into the administration. And he goes to the other guard with him. He goes, "Hey Joe, this guy makes more than we do." and is it? I've always been in a skilled trade, but when I got out, I taught myself computers. A couple of years after I got out is when microcomputers came out because it was in the 70s.
Okay.
And well, to make a long story short, I've always craved learning. After that, I decided. Oh, and so when I was leaving, the same guard told me, "We'll see you back here in a few months." You know, when you screw up again. And I looked at him straight in the face and said, "You will not see me back here." And I've never been back. I cleaned my stuff up and never had a drinking problem
No.
just because most of my family did all the drinking for me. So never got involved in that. And at 26, I got married, had 2 kids. I make a good salary now and looking forward to retiring in a year. But no, if anybody, you young folks out there are thinking you're going to get away with shit, you're not. You're not.
Mm.
There are very, very few people that get away with it. So
I think a way to kind of sum this up is it doesn't matter what choices we make, they're all going to catch up to us. And the more wrong decisions and poor choices that you make, the worse the outcome is going to be. It is as simple as changing your life is as simple as making better decisions. Do I want to drink this bottle of wine or do I want to drink this water? It's Sunday night and I have to work at 8:00 in the morning. Choices. Your choices affect your future. Your choices affect how you are, who you are. Like, I'm going to be tomorrow. Y'all, I understand that, like, in the heat of the moment, like, a choice or a decision doesn't seem that simple, but it really is. I don't want to feel like crap when I wake up. I'm not going to drink this bottle of wine.
Well, peer pressure gets to a lot of people too. So what you have been saying throughout your show today, that if you surround yourself with the kind of people that you don't want to become, guess what's going to happen? And
Yep.
make those choices. So, and Tawny, I feel for you in your hotel. I work for a 5-star in Las Vegas. Fortunately, I'm not customer facing. So,
being back in the service industry, that I think has been my hardest struggle is just the people. Now, don't get me wrong, most of them are awesome, but you get those people who are just awful for no reason. For no reason,
They may have similar influences. Because if you grow up around in a community, you have a lot of common influences around you,
right?
Especially when you're in the school where your community is forced,
Right.
and you're what we call a captive audience. You have to make the choices about which of those audience members you're going to surround yourself with, not the bad influences. Unfortunately, I was the bad influence. So
I was too for a while.
okay,
I wasn't at first, but was like, again, it was that whole people pleasing. And the first group that accepted me, lo and behold, because I was 16 and worked and had money and they didn't, right? Oh, she's got money in a car. And then they were my friends. And then poof, my life started going to crap because I people pleased instead of doing what I wanted to do.
And the hard thing when you have kids is trying to tell them the lessons you learned, and they don't listen. They don't believe you any more than you believed your own parents when they told you.
And that's hard. That's hard.
Anyway, I wanted to keep it short so that you didn't run too far over.
No, you're okay. It's okay if we go over a little bit. If you guys are just tuning in, this is John. You missed Tawny and Tater. And we've kind of, the whole theme I think of today is it's choosing yourself, putting yourself first, making choices to better your future, and I think that was kind of the theme throughout all 3 of you, right? Like, I think putting yourself first and the choices that you make and and just, the decisions that are made, it ultimately defines your future. Surrounding yourself with good people means you're going to be a good person. Surrounding yourself, it's just like a repetition thing. But if you want to play football, you're going to hang out with football players. If you want to play soccer, you're going to hang out with soccer players. If you want to cook, you're going to hang out in the kitchen. If you want to learn nails, you're going to be in a salon. But you got to surround yourself with who you want to be to learn, because we've all got to start somewhere.
Yeah, I'll leave you with the last chapter, the last paragraph of my life till now is 2 years ago. I was able to get my records cleaned. Nice. So I don't have a record anymore.
Nice. That is awesome. That is awesome. I'm really proud of all three of you for pulling yourselves out of the slump that you got in and getting your stuff together. And I told you guys in the message today was going to be a great show. I could feel it. I told ya. But yeah, John, do you stream? Are you on any other shows? What do you got going on?
I most people know me that do know me for the music stream I run overnight.
Okay.
Because they're always saying, why aren't you ever there? Well, I am there. Maybe half of those nights I'll get on before the music stream and try and have a conversation with a few people. But I'm just starting it. I've been on the system here for a year and a half, but I've only been streaming for about 6 weeks. Up until then, it was all gift.
Right, so. Right. I know I've got you favorited, so I'll have to try to come check you out and listen to some music maybe when I'm going to bed, right? But all right, John. Again, you guys, make sure you have John favorited, Tawny, and Tater. All three had great messages today. Thank you guys for making the show amazing. I appreciate y'all. And I'm going to let Jay in to do the exit